It's Friday morning, right about 10 o'clock. The 1 o'clock is fast. Well, not only did it never fall back, so it says it's 11 instead of 10, but it says it's 11:05, and the computer says it's 10:02. So, yeah. Does anybody really know what time it is? So I need to apologize for Wednesday. Our internet provider decided to take a snow day. We had like 2.5 inches of slushy snow on Tuesday and a little bit more on Wednesday. And, they said, well, no, I guess we can't work in the snow. So internet went down and was out actually for like 5 hours or so. So I think like the stream sort of started, it looked like everything was going okay. And then the chat room just said it was trying to connect, and that was my clue. But I went ahead anyway because my understanding is that these things get recorded and then posted to YouTube. So if you really would like to, why not? You can catch a somewhat disrupted and abbreviated session of Submarine Wednesday on YouTube. And I made some additional progress. More stuff got painted. Some parts got put together. I cemented some parts into other parts. That was kind of fun. And so, yeah, you can see, I'm just looking at one of these brushes. All of my brushes, I've got like 2 good ones, right? And then the rest of these, the bristles say, I don't want to point. Why would I form a point? I'm just going to stick out at a 90-degree angle. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to be distracted here, trying to get this brush is getting smaller in that bristles are coming off, but hopefully the bristles that remain will, form a point as opposed to sticking out on the sides. And the problem with them sticking out on the sides, of course, is that they get paint on them, and when I reach in and try to paint something with this, little spots of paint go all over everything else. Yes, so the internet went out, and I recorded the shorter session of Submarine Wednesday that should be on YouTube, so you can watch that and hear me talk about, I think the internet might have got out. Is this really streaming? I don't know. I can't tell. There's no chat. Nobody's saying anything. So, yeah, it was one of those. Today, nothing bad has happened yet today. I have to say that. So you have something to look forward to, maybe. You might have an oh or an oops. But there's a blizzard coming. Fortunately, it was supposed to have arrived like at 7 in the morning or something, but whatever the system is, it's moving much more slowly, which means that those people who are already under it, it's just sitting there, dumping snow on you, or further south, huge thunderstorms even. But here it's not quite really arrived yet. Now they say the snow's going to start sometime this afternoon, early afternoon. It'll probably be later. So instead of having a Friday-Saturday snowstorm, we're going to have a Saturday-Sunday blizzard, which means that we're probably going to have, the power will probably stay on during this stream, and who knows about the internet. It might just say, well, in anticipation of having snow, we might just go out anyway, because that's the way the internet is here. At any rate, welcome to Relaxing Painting with Dice and Dungeons Friday edition, which means that I'm not working on the submarine, but I'm working on some other things, and that other thing right now is this little archer sprite, which is mostly done. Okay? It's mostly done. What I need to do yet is paint the bow, and I picked a color out for that. Paint the arrow shaft, paint the arrow feathers. So this is the bow color. It's going to be really, really, really dark red. Okay. And the feathers, I think I'll just paint the feathers the same color as the boots. assuming I can find that color again. There it is. The arrow shaft itself, I'm just going to paint brown, whatever this turns out to be. It's an older red-brown. And the arrow point, you see moving around because it's stuck on with contact cement, because you can also see that it's a toothpick, because yeah, I dropped this and broke it and made a mess of it. Why not? That's what I do. I don't know, the arrow point, I was thinking of doing it bronze like the armor bits, okay, which look kind of decent, but I might, I'm not sure now. I might do something different. I might like paint it yellow maybe. Or maybe I'll just, just paint it like steel or dark aluminium or something. I'm not sure. I could sit here and perseverate a little bit, wander off and meander into a conversation with myself about what color to paint the arrow point. It seems like kind of a nice, pointless way to waste some time on relaxing painting. But in keeping with the rest of the theme here, the kind of the orange and red kind of theme, I am just going to paint it bronze. I've decided that. I'm going to paint it, the arrow point, the same color as the armor, little armor bits on her arms. Arm armor. Okay, so most of this painting is tiny little bits of things, so I'll have probably put my head magnifier on so I can get the feathers painted in there somehow or other where she's holding it. The arrow shaft shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but it probably will be because I have to get the paint, back here. The bow, connects with the hands, so we've got like 4 colors of paint and tiny little bits of things, so that'll fill up a whole lot of time here on relaxing painting with Dice and Dungeons, during which time I can either be silent and let you listen to the music or ramble on about something. The other thing, the larger surface thing that I need to do is I need to do some sort of pearlescent on the wings and the little wings on the head as well, because right now they're just base coated white. And I have 2 options that I'm going to test. I painted a white blob here on Monday, anticipating the test. One is just to use the white pearlescent paint as kind of a dry brush. I just use it as kind of a dry brush wash over that. And I've done this before. This is what I did. I'm not going to touch it. If I touch it, I'll break it, so I'm not going to. I've done this before on the other sprite. And just get a little bit of this and kind of, and basically you can't really see the color because it's white, right? But it gives it kind of a glossy, it makes it shiny because it's pearlescent. That's that. So that wasn't very exciting. But the other thing I thought I'd try is this stuff called Pearl Neon Purple, which has just a little bit of purple in it. It's mainly just white. And other than the color patch that I did, the test patch for my color sample booklet here, I haven't really used this. So I was thinking maybe, this might look good. I'm not sure. Let's find out. Let's get a little bit on the brush here. This stuff is very, very thick. I'm going to have to squeeze it. Okay, when I squeeze this out, I'm trying to just get a drop of it, but it's so viscous, it comes out in a larger blob like that. So it's, I think, it's kind of cool if you see it here. It's just as you move it around, it's kind of opalescent. Pretty subtle. As I move this, if I move this around, you can see the glossiness of it, and it's just in the right light. It just has a slightly purple tinge to it. I think it actually looks pretty decent. I'm not going to use this brush on the model, though. It's not a good brush. I'm going to use this this really large one. It does better on the dry brushing kind of thing. Since I have the paint out, I might just go ahead and do this. I think I can get it. And paint across the grain, because there's lots of raised ridges on this one. I capture that. Yeah, that wing's moving a little bit because it's been broken off several times. Because, yeah, that's what happens. I touch things. It's really kind of subtle, but I think you can see the difference between the two, the glossiness of it, and the purple color is not overwhelming. I think it's looking pretty good. I might just end up putting more on than I was anticipating because to show. And then I guess I'm going to do the feathers, the fletch, whatever it is, the feathers on the arrow next. And then I'll do the shaft, and then the bow, and then the arrowhead. I guess just in that kind of order. So far, I haven't broken anything. That's always good. Save the worst for the last, right? This one's just hard. This is the hardest bit to reach. Just behind the bow, this part of the bow is broken off. When I knocked it over, a week ago when I started this, I can't. Well, Haiti, thanks for joining in. I appreciate you stopping by. There. Yeah, this pearlescent paint is fairly subtle, but under the right light, it just it flashes kind of this purplish glowy, glossy kind of look. Well, thank you. I know it's been a while. Fortunately, these do go up on YouTube, which is good, because Wednesday our internet went out, and the Submarine Wednesday is the somewhat abbreviated and baffled edition of how come there's no one in chat? Oh, why does chat keep saying it's trying to connect? It turned out that the internet had decided to take a day off. I wanted to continue to make progress on the submarine, because otherwise it'll never get done. Oh, geez. Okay. Looking around and thinking around, there's these feathers on the top of her head. These need to be done too. I almost forgot about them until I looked up. This is why I keep rotating the model, because sometimes I'll turn it when I think I'm almost done, and then I look around and there's like a hole like inside of an arm or something that never got painted. After I'm done with this, which will be eventually here, because all I really got to do now is all the little fiddly bits on the bow and arrow, which I saved for last because it's glued together because I broke it. And so far, I almost, you can almost feel it falling over. And then I need to paint the bases some color. The last one I did in green. This is sort of fall colors. I'd probably do it in green again, but just why not? I don't have any wash that would work. I could do it in kind of an orange color for fall and put a green wash on it. I think I'm going to actually test that. Why not? I've got this. I do test patches on things. What color could I use? Clear orange out. I think I've pulled out like all of the colors from this container. Okay, I'm going to do a test patch on this. Take these two colors, okay, do a little test patch here on this cardboard, and then test the green wash on them and see how it looks as a potential base color. Stir here. I don't know if Nine's Who is watching, but Who always likes when that happens, when I get the frequency right and everything just kind of shakes like that. So this is, relaxing painting, so I can waste time doing this kind of stuff instead of painting the model. And it's just the base, it's just not even really part of the model, but, I guess this would be a thing that a painter would do if I were a real painter, is, you test your colors out to see what would look like, what would look best, even though it's a part of the whole thing that isn't terribly important. But, anyway, there. kind of a nice orange color. Darker orange color. A crappy brush and just spread it around. Dry a little bit, and then on half of it I'll put the green wash to see how it looks. What I'm going for is, this is supposed to be like fall. This sprite's supposed to represent fall. That's why it's in oranges and reds. So let's see if we can get the base to be consistent with that. Yeah, and these dry pretty fast, so by the time I'm done with the bow and arrow, probably even before that, it'll be dry enough to test the wash on. But yeah. This is where I say things have gotten out of control once again on the workbench here. That, okay, so I'll show this too. There's over here is this really wonderful paint holder, custom paint holder that our DM Alexis made. These are like PLA reels, and then she designed these holders. He designed them and printed them on a 3D printer. You know, there you can see there's two colors here, so two halves that get together, and there's like epoxied together there, and these holes are just right to hold these bottles, and they even tilt a little bit so they don't fall out. You know, it's really good. But if you look at it, okay, you notice that most of them are empty. That's because instead of putting the paint away when I'm done using it, that happened. So yeah, those are all supposed to be in there, but they're not. They're all over the workbench instead. So those of you who are watching this, that's not what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is keep your work surface clear, and so you don't knock things over, so you can find things, you know, things like that. But this is the point in the stream where I say I really need to spend some time and clean this up and put things away, because then I'd actually have more than just this. This is what you see here is pretty much the only part of this entire workbench that, yeah. Okay, I'm going to paint the little fletch, the feathers. Yeah, those... we should really sell stuff, you know? Like the paint holders. We don't have a lot of the PLA reels, but those are pretty easy to come by. They're just basically waste. And if you've got a 3D printer, you end up with like a bunch of them that you don't know what to do with, other than, you know, people find all sorts of uses for them. But this kind of paint holder thing, I think, is really cool. And we could, you know, just sell the two halves. You know, ship them off. They're not very heavy. And then when you get them, you could glue them together, and then you can hold paint on those. I think they hold like a dozen bottles each. I could count them, but maybe I will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Good counting. Each one of those reels holds 16 of these little bottles. So it's kind of efficient. And then they stack. You just... She also prints custom-made spindles that go through the center of these so that they stack up. There's another one over there for the larger bottles, the larger Tamiya bottles, which I'm not going to show you right now because I'll have to move the camera around again. Uh-huh. So that, anyway, those paint holders are really cool, but mainly they're now just for our use because, well, they should be for our use, but I'm not using them because I just leave the paints all over the surface of the workbench until someday when I decide that it really is time to clean up. Okay, so I put these head magnifiers on because without them I can't even see the feathers. I know they're there. Yep, there they are. And I'm going to try to paint them without painting the hand. Saying this is another thing I need to get is I need to buy another one of these, a couple more of these brushes, because I use this a lot. It gives me the most control, and they hold together pretty well. Fine detail painting, but I wear them out for some reason, like when they're being cleaned. Eventually the bristles just wear out. Get it in there. Not too worried about getting paint on the shaft because that's going to get painted separately. But I wanted to make sure that I painted the inside of the arrow. That shows a little bit. I got a little bit too much on the finger. I am not going to fix that. At some point, it just isn't worth getting the whole bottle of paint out for one little spot on the top. No, I might, now that I know it's there. Yes. Okay. I can't read this chat anymore. Okay. Cool. We use Temu. Okay. Yeah, I know shipping. Well, depending on which way it's going nowadays. Yeah. Not only there's lots of reasons for shipping to be delayed, but now the shipping is really delayed because of the mess out in the Red Sea. But that's good advice. Yeah. Well, we do that too with some of the, like the ball magnets that we use on the base of our dungeon tiles, you know, the ones that hold them together. End up buying those in big quantities because, well, they're cheaper to get in a big quantity, but it's also, you know, you make sure you get them because sometimes they're not easy to get. And if you know you're going to be using them, you know, it's definitely worthwhile buying things in large quantities. When we were doing dungeon tiles, you know, we'd buy these large bottles. These are the large bottles of paint because we'd go through a lot of, you know, painting a lot of tiles, like 30 or 40 at a time. You go through a lot of paint, and that's by far the least expensive way to do it, rather than buying the little bottles. But painting miniatures uses hardly any paint at all, and so these squeeze bottle things, even though there's not as much in them, keeps the paint more or less consistent. Because what happens with the larger ones is that no matter how well you seal them, it just, once they're open, they kind of evaporate. I'm waiting for the feathers to dry So I'm going to paint the bow, and then I'll do the arrow shaft after I finish painting the bow. Yeah, I'm getting more bubble than paint here. We've been resisting buying more colors, even though it'd be kind of a nice thing to have even, the perfect color sometimes. Having too many colors turns out to be a curse rather than a blessing. It's like not being able to decide. So this is a little bit messed up. It's like almost like they've got an extra finger, because that's the blob of contact cement that was used to hold the bottom half of the bow in place, because I broke it when I knocked it over. That was quite a thing. So I knocked it over. I heard this shattering noise because the rosin plastic is fairly brittle. And it was like, oh no, it sounds like something broke. And I looked at it and it looked okay. And then I looked at the front, and the bottom part of the bow and the arrowhead were knocked off. So I crawled around on the floor for a good amount of time before the stream, which is why you didn't get to see it on stream. This all happened in preparation. As I was prepping, I thought, well, I got down here early and was doing prep work rather than doing it on stream, and my prep work consisted of breaking things. Yeah. The rosin printer will print out amazing detail, like these bows and things like that, real delicate little parts. But the problem is, delicate little parts sometimes in my presence depart. They unpart. Yeah, this is this sort of really dark red is kind of a good color for the bow. It's consistent with the rest of the color scheme, but it's different enough so it's not just repeating a color. Probably not the best brush to be using for this. I'm ending up using the side of the brush, which can pull the bristles apart. Should have used one of the others, but I didn't. And I'm almost done, so I'll finish it. That's moving. Destroyed the brush anyway. That was not the best brush or the best application for the brush. Let's see. Yeah, the arrow shaft. That's another one of those where this isn't the best brush, but it's really, some of this is hard to reach, so. Okay. I've got 2 bottles of this red brown. Yeah. This is the good one. Okay. This is fairly new. This is not the good one, but in just in that the color is wrong. It sort of got really too gummy in the bottle, and I used some thinner in it just to thin it. In the process, the color changed, but for this purpose, this color will be just fine. And it gives me, use it up if I can open it. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So the thing that happens with these is that paint gets in the cap when it's stirred, okay, and it sits in the center of the cap, and then it drains down into the edges of the cap, and the edges of the cap are what contact the glass on the top, and then it glues it on. Well, there we go. So I'm probably going to spend some time why this is stuck. There's not that much paint in the threads of the bottle, but I might spend a little bit of time cleaning it up. There you go, because this itty bitty brush does not cover all of it. Rotating there a minute. I was rotating it to see the shaft started and the feather started. See how this paint turns out. It's just, it's kind of weird. It's like giving variability in the color, which I think for, the arrow shaft is fine, but if I were painting a large surface area, it might not work very well. Turn it over and get the bottom. Kind of an interesting look. Like I said, the color is not consistent within the bottle because of, being thinned down and all, but it's kind of an interesting look for the arrow shaft. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now I just have the arrowhead, and then I need to do the test on the base color to see if any of those work. But first, danger time. Try to get some of the paint out of the... Like I said, there isn't that much paint in the threads of this bottle, so... There's a chunk. But it was holding on very tight, very solid. So yeah, these paints are really efficient in these large bottles for doing large, big surface areas like dungeon tiles, right? Do like couple dozen dungeon tiles, and you know, it's a lot cheaper to buy one of these than 2 or 3 small ones. But if you're only using, like on a minifig, a drop at a time, a tiny little drop at a time, then they can dry up in the bottle and go bad on you. Anyway, I'll cap this back up. And put it away there. Put it away. It's not put away in the sense that one would say it was put away where it should be put away. It's just, it's put away from me. You know, I got scratch in my hand. There we go. So one more. I was just going to use the brass on the arrowhead here. I'll do that. And then go back to my test bits for the base to see how they work. After this is done, the next project is a unicorn, a Shetland pony unicorn. It is just barely holding on. It's held on with contact cement, but the contact cement remains flexible a good long time, maybe forever. Hoping it holds on long enough for me to get paint on it. Giving the impression of an arrowhead at this point. Straight from the front, but not from the side. Weird. Just anyway, there. I'm not going to mess with it any further. Okay, so this is, I'd say, pretty much done. What I could do, but I'm not going to, is get a little bit of brown wash, and I would wash the face and the hands a little bit, just to try to emphasize like the fingers and the ears and things. But I'm not good at that, and I could just end up making a mess of it. I am thinking maybe of doing it on the hair, though. But if somebody wants that done, like one of the other members of Dyson Dungeons, I'm going to let them do it, because they're good at it, and I'm not. And not being good at that sometimes, something that looks kind of okay could turn into, oh, well, just reprime it and start over kind of situation. No, you were bit by a pony? Did you went to like a pony ride and it bit you? Oh man, that's terrible. off for the rest of this. Well, this is the Shetland pony. Ah, okay. And then they have like pony rides, is it petting zoo, that kind of thing too? So the Shetland pony. Cool. I mean, that could be a lot of fun if you didn't get bit by the animals. There's always that downside, right? With animals, even if they're domesticated, like farm animal kinds of things, there's always the risk that something like that could happen. The suggestion is that this pony needs to be painted like a rainbow. Started with red up here and ending up with violet back here. So I'm going to have to get a rainbow of colors to and that the mane and the tail are supposed to be painted like midnight blue, really dark midnight blue with little white stars on them, and the horn will be gold. So yeah, I guess it's just like I just need to get the colors and decide where the stripes are, because it'll be a rainbow. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to end up looking. We'll see. And then maybe, that might be the kind of thing where I get the white pearlescent paint out and just cover the whole thing in glowiness, shininess or like that. So after I figure out how to paint the base of this other one that I've been working on, I will create a rainbow of colors and just paint stripes on them. I think it'll end up looking kind of silly, but maybe that's the point. Okay, well. So I got these trifocals, right? So I can see intermediate distance kind of well, right through the center. But the only way to see up close is to look down through the very bottom, which is next to impossible. And the only way to see anything far is to tip them down, look through the top. I really dislike these a lot. Sometimes it's the only way I can see almost anything at all. Without them, I can see about 4 inches, maybe up to 8. Okay, so these are the two colors that I might use for the base, and what I'm going to do is I want to see what happens if I put the green wash on them to make it look like it's kind of like grassy or something. And I used the green wash not too terribly long ago, which means that it should be right here. The great blue. There it is. I couldn't find it last time either. Yeah, like kind of mossy. It turned out okay, like on this one. Base coated it green. Okay, yeah, the snow is on its way. Thanks for joining in. And catch the Submarine Wednesday on YouTube. I actually made progress. So this one, kind of that mossy look works pretty well if I use a green with the base with the green stuff. But let's see what happens. Yeah, the snow warning here says it's going to start at like 2 o'clock. It used to be supposed to have started this morning, and then it didn't, and now it's starting later in the day, but nonetheless it's supposed to be really kind of like 48 hours of snow. Doesn't sound very good. Well, this is This is the brush I'd probably use. You know, I guess to be honest, it just makes it look kind of dirty. You know, it does keep its greenness. Let's try a bit and see. I'm thinking, you know, that light orange, this lighter orange color, if I'm going to use a green wash on it, it looks better than the dark one. It just, that doesn't look good. It loses its greenness and it just looks muddy. But this isn't too bad. You know, it's kind of orange with, you know, I'm going to try that. And if it doesn't work, it can be painted over. There. What is this stuff? Light orange. Yeah. I think it would look better with some wash on the flesh, but like I said, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to paint the base this light orange color and then use the green wash on it because I think that would look okay. And then after that, then I need to get the rainbow colors for the unicorn pony. Just going to take 2 coats. It's going to happen on the pony as well, because I'm going to be using like reds, oranges, and yellows. As you can see, they do not cover very well. I don't know, maybe it's okay. Maybe if I intentionally do sort of blotty kind of that, it might actually give me kind of the effect that I want, which is like fallen leaves kind of. Let's see how it looks when it dries. I might not even put the green wash on it. I'm not sure. This is a tins. I just found this brush. It's been around for a long time, but it was just buried somewhere. Pile, and it's a pretty good brush. It's not as fine pointed as the white handle, the one I was using earlier, but it's better for this kind of doing more coverage. The same time giving me pretty good control, like around the feet there. Anyway, yeah, so I'm painting the base here with this orange paint and intentionally making it blobby because it's supposed to be like a fall surface. If I were a real model maker, I'd get like a whole bunch of little leaves and very carefully with tweezers glue them on in an artistic pattern and paint them different colors, fall colors, browns, and reds and stuff, make it look like the whole base was covered with leaves. But that's not what this is about. Okay, this is just a minifig that might show up in our campaign sometime, done D&D campaign, or not. It might just be the only time you might see it is during relaxing painting. But, you know, it's not a master modeler or display kind of thing. So even if I had them, I probably wouldn't go through the trouble of individually gluing on. Yeah, I could do that. Just a real master modeler would construct their own, make their own little miniature leaves. There'd be oak leaves and maple leaves. They'd all be to scale, you know, so that they were actually in scale with the model itself. Be individually painted. They would be painted so that the veins and the leaves would actually show. You know, there would be that much detail. And each leaf would look like a beautiful fall leaf on the ground. And then they'd be artistically scattered around the base here. I can't, well, I probably could do that if I took forever. It would take forever to do that, but as it is, I'm just trying to make this kind of look like, you know, just kind of a fall color. And I'll probably put a little bit of the green wash on it. You know, like here. I might just leave it the way it is. I'll get an opinion during break, I think. To do at the base. It's not too terrible. Kind of like the lumpy look. But this can be put aside and hopefully not knocked over now that it's mostly done. Okay. Completed. The wings came out okay. The pearlescent paint gives it kind of a glow, and in the right light you can even just see little bits of purple. If you can see the color change, I can see it under my light. There's little purple glints. They're kind of cool. Makes it look diaphanous. That's a good word. But there's the archer sprite kind of thing. And just put that here. Clean the brush. See if I can get this clean. Use the isopropyl on this. No, it's coming out. And then I need to create a rainbow of colors because the Shetland Pony Unicorn is going to be painted rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It's always getting the blue, indigo, violet combination right that's sometimes challenging. I have a lot of purples, but it's getting like the blue indigo. And then finding a really dark, deep blue for the main. And here's red. And orange. I might just use this orange. Just the clear orange. Got several yellows. Look at my color chart. Excuse me, I have to get my coffee mug. Otherwise, I'm going to fade away. I set it back there so I don't knock it over. Or at least the likelihood of knocking it over is somewhat reduced. Yeah, the red is very red. That's good. Orange. I think I don't have much in between. I've got this orange fire, but that doesn't cover very well. So it's light orange or clear orange. And then yellows. A whole range of yellows. Kind of like the sun yellow. Try that if I can find it. As opposed to deep yellow. Lemon yellow is way to that. So it's either deep or sun. I might use the light orange. That's more orangey than... yellow? That's not that one. I need deeper sun. As I look around... That's that. That's not it. This is sun yellow. If I lose... Maybe deep yellow would be better. If I can find that. Here I am talking to myself about different colors. Hardly any of these colors, you know, all of these colors are supposed to be put away in this roundabout thing. But they're not. Which makes it harder to find. Well, the sun yellow might be okay, but I'm thinking the deep yellow would be better if I could find that. Green, I'm definitely using the light green. Red. Here, let me move this. Let's see the colors. Brushes in the way. Yellow, green. So for the blue, I'm actually going to use like this turquoise blue, because there has to be a distinction between that and indigo. The violet, I can use purple. But you can see there's a difference between this and this. So I'll use the royal blue, I think. The royal blue looks pretty good. We'll see if I can find that. Blue. And that's going to be my indigo. And then I think just plain purple, because this gets too dark. Purple. That's this one. This is purple. It actually looks pretty rainbowy as I've set it out here. I still think I would like... I think I still like that other yellow if I could find it. No, I can't even find the page with it on. Yeah, deep yellow, which is more yellow than orange, especially if I'm using the clear, the light orange or orange, because that looks much more orangey than that. This is too bad. I'm going to make another look check for that. Now for the main, I'm going to use the heavy violet here for the mane and the tail. That's going to be the starry dark sky, because I need blue in the rainbow, and that's the best blue, the royal blue. I think the flat blue is not too bad, but there's not enough contrast between these. This is really nice and dark. I think that would be good for mane and the tail. Would be violet. I'm just using this lighter purple color for the purple. It'll be enough contrast. The royal purple is a little too brown, I think. This is a nicer color. Okay, so I'm going to make one more search for the deep yellow as opposed to the sun yellow, and then those will be the rainbow colors. Yeah, just look around here for the yellow. I could always use this yellow. This is the Tamiya yellow. Let's see how that looks. Because that's a good yellow. This yellow. As opposed to the... Yeah, if I can't find the deep yellow, that's an alternative. So here, lead them down. You can see it from the top just as well, I think. Yeah, it looks... That looks pretty rainbowy, doesn't it? It should work for rainbowy. So weird. I'm looking for the other missing yellow, and I'm not seeing it anywhere. Should be these two colors, but it's not. I'm just wasting time here looking for a color that I can't find. Been pulled up, used for something else, I'm not sure. Looking at that when it's obviously not it. This one? Yeah, why was it there? I don't know. I think this yellow, you can see the difference in color. It's kind of subtle, but this is a little orangey, and this is a pure or red yellow. These, at least these two colors, and maybe the red, but these two colors will require multiple coats because they just don't cover it all that well. And then this one, this is a really dark one, and is going to be used for the mane and the tail. Hi, Sudden Crane. Thanks for joining in. That's really true. Yeah. You know, when the sun rises, it's like almost orange. And then as it goes higher in the sky, it gets lighter and lighter. So that when it's at noon, it's more like a lemon yellow than anything else. So this is my rainbow array. This is my rainbow array for the unicorn pony, which is going to start up at here red. I think maybe the whole face will end up being red. Just a, I think I'll paint, yeah, red, orange could go under the neck, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Yeah, so I think the red will stop about midway here, and then orange will be down the neck here, and yellow will go on the legs, green, blue, indigo, and then violet. And I can paint back and forth again, just, you know, if the layers don't come out quite right. But we don't need too much red. I think the indigo, the royal blue, will be like the front of the legs, and then the violet will kind of come back. We'll have a purple butt. I'm going to start with the red, orange, and yellow, because those will need a second coat, the orange and yellow for sure. And then move on back. See how it goes, and then the unicorn horn would be bright gold. What are we doing? It's like quarter after. Let's stick it on the sticky tack here. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It's going to be a rainbow on a pony somehow, for some reason. I'm going to take a moment before I start putting paint on the pony to just talk a little bit about Dyson Dungeons. I don't have to do that all the time. So Dyson Dungeons is a group of friends and family, and we run a Dungeons and Dragons show, which streams 3 Sundays a month at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard U.S. time. And it's a really good, I have to say, having done it now for over a year, it's really a lot of fun for us, and I hope it's a lot of fun for the people who watch it or listen to it. And if you can't catch the live stream, you can catch past episodes on YouTube or listen to them as a podcast, because there's almost always some sort of chatter going on, and if there isn't, there's music like supposed to be playing in the background on this. And Relaxing Painting started out as, I don't know why it started really. We were painting dungeon tiles because for our show we do dungeon things, like the stuff that's showing up underneath me that's kind of scrolling around. And these dungeon tiles are really cool. These are base coated but not yet washed. Okay, so you can see these are a rough stone dungeon. So they're base coated in gray, and then they have some detail, and then this whole thing gets gray washed so it looks worn. But the best part about it is we print these. Oh, I almost dropped one. Almost got to see how sturdy they were because I almost dropped it on a concrete floor. These are done on the PLA printers behind me. Singles piece. Underneath this plate are ball magnets, and the magnets adhere to each other. So they are magnetic, but they adhere to each other, not to a base. And so they can be quickly reconfigured in any kind of configuration that you would want. Okay, which is really cool, and that's why we use them on our show, because sometimes if we get into a dungeon, we want to go from one room to the next, and the next room can be made from the same tiles, but just rearranged. Okay, so that's how this started, and our DM said, well, if you're going to be painting these, why don't you stream the painting? And so we got, it's not a studio, it was leftover stuff. So there's a leftover Ring camera and a leftover microphone, and there's a camera over there that's aimed at me that wasn't good enough for the show. And so this got set up, and I've got a high-tech workshop here with cardboard and paintbrushes and water and stuff. Anyway, that's how relaxing painting started. I am not a model maker. I'm not a real good painter, but I was good enough to do minifigs and dungeon tiles for the show. And I hope you enjoy listening and watching the relaxing stream, which is mostly relaxing except when I do a major oops. And then Submarines Wednesday started because I didn't have any dungeon tiles or minifigs, and so I pulled out old models that I got when I retired, and that happened to be a Renwall Cutaway submarine, which will be finished potentially maybe during the first quarter of this year, but it turns out that there's travel and family stuff getting in the way. Like starting at the end of next week, I won't be streaming for a week. At least if I do, it'll be very short episodes because I'm dog sitting with 2 young dogs that need to be attended to while everybody else is away traveling. And so I'm not, I can leave them alone for like an hour or something. So I might just do little bits of stream, not next week, but the week after next. But that gets in the way of the submarine stuff, maybe. Anyway, yeah. So earlier I was projecting the end of the first quarter of 2024. Now I'm projecting by July 1st, the submarine will be done. Maybe I'll finish it for like Independence Day. That would be appropriate, wouldn't it? To have a nuclear missile launching submarine be completed on July 4th. Anyway, these are the kind of dungeon tiles I do, and that's what Dyson Dungeons is all about. And if you haven't already, you need to check out our D&D campaign. If not with live chat, go to YouTube and look at them. There's more than 100 episodes now, so this is not a flash in the pan kind of show. It has a lot of longevity, even though we do have a magic item, which is a pan that heats up. So even though the show's not a flash in the pan, there can be a flash in a pan during the role playing. So there we are. Maybe it's time to start putting some paint on the pony. I'm going to put my head magnifiers on just a bit here because I want to see what the face of this pony is really like. And this helps me do that. It'll help me see where the red ends and the yellow starts. The orange. So the mane, it's a really big mane. I think the red can go to just behind the eye. And the orange will be the neck. And I think the legs will be yellow. That'll take like 3 coats. Green, blue, indigo will be the leg and the forward part of the haunch, and the violet will be the very, very end. The red might go to like the back of the head. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Yeah, it'll work. The dividing lines between the colors is going to be somewhat arbitrary. Yeah, okay. Well, there we are. I think I'll use this brush at least to start and see how this goes. I need these to paint. I'm going to try it without it. It's more comfortable not wearing them. I think it was last Friday? Maybe it was Monday. Yeah, there was think it was Monday when I started talking about Mr. Ed. So Mr. Ed is appropriate because this is a horse, sort of course. And I was spending some time. I like to get on these rants about 1950s and 60s TVs. Okay. And the Mr. Ed theme song, which is a very catchy tune. You know, a horse is a horse, of course, of course. And no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is a famous Mr. Ed. And the lyric writers, you know, did an amazing job continuously repeating horse and course without it sounding just like going horse, horse, course, course, horse, horse, course, course, which is kind of what it is. You know, but it catches the tune and everybody can remember it. And then there's this little interlude thing where it goes away from that and it goes to people yakety yak away and waste your time of day. Right? But Mr. Ed will never talk unless he has something to say. And then I went from that because nobody talks unless they have something to say, because then they say things. That's what talking is. So that was a nonsensical kind of lyric. You know, I think the implication was that Mr. Ed doesn't talk unless there is something important to say, or something relevant to say, or something like clever or entertaining to say, as opposed to just flat out something to say, because, you know, the act of speech itself is saying something, so that didn't make sense. And then the second verse, when you get back to the da 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 da, kind of, you know, bouncy kind of rhythm of it all. The rhyme gets a little bit. I'm gonna have to put my head magnifiers on for this. There's not enough light to see. We got the rhyme got better, okay, in the sense that there was more of it. Their ears are going to be red. You go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you'll endorse. It's really not too bad, okay? Because you, instead of just rhyming horse and course over and over and over again, which happens in the initial bit of the theme song, we got some other words. Yay. So that was an improvement. So I don't mind if I get this red paint on the mane, because the mane will be painted a really nice deep purple color, violet color. I just want to make sure I get it up to the mane. Say, why is this horse's face getting painted red? And the answer is, because it's going to be a rainbow unicorn. Red comes before orange, which comes before yellow, which comes before green, blue, indigo, violet. So all these red, orange, yellow colors are going to need multiple coats, especially with the dark primer that's underneath them like that. And somewhere right around here, maybe right around the beginning of the neck there, the orange will start. There's red. Yay. It's kind of silly on the face, but that is what it is. You gotta have red at the beginning of the rainbow. I'm not going to be worried too much about whether the paint is dry yet or not. If it blends a little bit along the demarcation line, that's actually a good thing. The yellow is going to need some serious mixing. I haven't used that in a long time. So there's orange. There's a darker orange, but I think this is an oranger looking orange. And this orange is going up to the front of the legs here. The legs are going to be yellow. This covers very poorly. I mean, wow. I'm going to need like 3 coats. Yeah, this orange is not so good at covering. I don't want to put too much on it that it will just be lumpy. Yeah, orange. The yellow is going to be just as bad. I'll probably be putting 3 coats of orange on, 2 coats of red. I'm not sure. At least 2 yellows. It might even be 3. Now after I'm done with this yellow, put a 2nd coat of red on, because this dries really fast, at least dry enough to put a 2nd coat on. The greens and blues, the next 4 colors cover pretty well. Probably need to put 2 coats of the green on. I don't know, we'll see. But, you know, there's lots of time left on the stream, so yeah, this is really covering kind of poorly. So I'm looking at 3 coats of yellow probably. Paint the Who's black, just, you know, because they should be. This is definitely not a naturalistic set of colors for this beast. There's no sense even trying to get an even covering, because it's just not going to. So I just know that, you know, yellow is going to be 3 coats. Orange will be 3, red might be 2. I want to paint the Who's yellow at the moment, just in case I change my mind about painting them black. And not paint them black, they'll be painted something. Yeah, it looks pretty scabby. Yeah, as does the orange. After like 3 coats, maybe 4, it starts to look not as bad. Minimum of 3. See if the red can't look redder. Got the dark gray primer underneath it, so it makes it look darker than if I had. So, for example, never got the other side of that ear. Then I had like used the light or a white primer. But this dark gray is the primer that we use for everything. So the red is coming along okay. I think that's good. There isn't that much orange. Well, there is a lot of orange, but it's kind of like under the neck, so it doesn't show as much. I think I'll make the yellow come back here a little bit further. Orange will move up a little bit too. There's quite a bit of the yellow. There's that. So I'm doing this kind of quickly for a couple of reasons. It just needs to be done, but I'm trying to use this paint, not waste the paint that I've squeezed into the palette here. Second coat of orange is helping, but wow, yeah. Definitely going to have to be 3 coats of the orange. Don't have to be careful not to brush it. It pulls the paint away as it's drying. Some paints don't do that. Some paints you can brush over and it looks okay. I mean, it works okay. Other paints you just can't. And this orange is one of the you can't. Get another coat of yellow on, and then I'll move on to the green, because this will have to, regardless of how much paint is sitting here getting wasted, it really just needs to dry a little further before I can put more on. You know, the yellow will definitely need the 3rd coat. There's not too much fine detail on this print, you know, on this model, because with this much kind of viscous paint on it, it's going to lose some of the detail that would be there. But, you know, you can see the yellow is It's better with 2 coats than it was with 1, but it's still not great. It is with these red, orange, yellow paints. They're like gelatinous. I mean, not only do they not cover very well the first coat, but the consistency of the paint is sort of, like I said, gelatinous, as opposed to like a free-flowing liquid. It's just odd, but it's true of that whole color palette. The oranges and the yellows, especially. The whites will sometimes be like that too. That's not too bad. I mean, that's kind of rainbowy so far. Red, orange, yellow, rainbowy anyway. That orange needs to dry, and then this paint in the palette here is gumming up, so it's not really usable. Let's do the light green. I've used this a lot on the submarine, and sometimes it'll cover in 1 coat. It's been fairly good that way. More often than not, it needs 2. Paint. See, it's covering much better. Than the other colors. I got 3 more colors: blue, indigo, and then violet. And then there's a spot up here. I have to grab this real quick. Just looking at it here, it's up under the mane. The yellow just did not go up high enough. There. Check the green. Goes up to the mane. That's not too bad. But the green's covering okay. Not too bad. It might be okay without a second coat. I might give it a second coat just to, make sure that the colors are kind of saturated, right? Yeah, I mean, just maybe. Blue, I'm actually using turquoise, which is a really pretty color. But I have to distinguish the blue from the indigo, which is blue. So basically blue, blue, purple. There's a lot of blue in a rainbow, I guess, but or at least distinctions that are maybe a little arbitrary. This color is like that. You can probably see it here. It's a really pretty color, but the pigment separates from the solvent really fast, and no matter how much I stir it, it still comes out like this. So I'm not going to waste this. I'm just going to mix it up here in the palette. There. And now here comes blue. This is a really pretty color, and it looks blue. Certainly compared to the green. And it covers well. Then indigo is blue. So that's what's going to come next. And that's going to cover like the leg. And then violet, there won't be that much of it. It'll just be the butt. Dealing with the anatomy of the horse here. What would be really good at this point is if some of this orange paint was still decent. I don't know, it's really thickened a lot. I don't know if it's going to spread. Let me see. You know, all it does is it pulls away the other paint. So this just needs to dry for a good long time. It's not dry at all. Probably after break, I'll come back and do the orange and the yellow third coats. The red's okay now. The orange and the yellow, yeah, they need a lot more paint. The green could stand a little bit of second coating. Down here. Just do that. Letting blue dry just a little bit before I do the next blue, which I'm going to pretend is indigo. Okay. So indigo is basically blue. It's just a darker blue. This is going to go across the top and the front of the legs, and then the violet will actually be the butt and the back of the legs. Not having to pay attention to any kind of detail or modeling or anything like that. This is going really quickly. So this is, I just say this is blue, but no, it's indigo. And it's going to go here in the front of the legs. Yeah, that'll be a kind of a decent dividing line in the back of the legs here. paint it a little further back than I want so that I can like paint up to it with the violet. Getting some heavy stomping around up there. You can see these greens and blues cover really well. You know, and the paint's level nicely. So I really do not understand why it is that the yellows, oranges, whatever's just don't work very well. But they don't, so living with it. Back here, but that will be evened out when I paint the purple paint over it. And I set some sort of arbitrary dividing line between one color and the other back here. That looks pretty rainbowy, doesn't it? Yeah. Rainbow look is happening. The purple is a really kind of pretty color. I think it'll look good there at the end. No, yeah, good thing that didn't matter. That was one of my usual oopses, which is moving the paint, you know, to and from the work. Pushing it into a place I didn't want it, but in that case it didn't matter, because that's going to get painted violet, and the violet will cover the blue pretty nicely, I am sure. Okay. Indigo, which is really blue, needs to dry for a bit before I do the violet, I think. So I'm going to try to get this clean. Have a cup of coffee. Huh. Yeah, if I get that last color on, it'd be a good time for a break. Then the orange and the yellow can dry, and I can get a third and maybe even fourth coat on. And then during break, I will get an informed artistic advice about the base for the other little sprite thing. And no doubt be told that, oh yeah, why don't you put some wash on the skin tone and on the hair, and that would make it look better if you did that. And I would go, no, it will ruin it. So after break, which will be about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, US, as I continue to work on the rainbow unicorn here, I'm also going to talk about what comes after the submarine, because I'm looking for feedback on that. But I'm going to show you some of the alternatives. I had 3 alternatives that I showed. I think it was on Monday or Wednesday. I can't remember. No, it must have been Monday, because Wednesday went dark because our internet went out. But one of the three was dismissed, and then I brought a couple of others out to add to it and eventually narrow it down. There's plenty of time to decide because the submarine's not done, and it doesn't look like it's going to be done anytime, like immediately. I'll just keep, if there's one that just says, nah, it's not going to happen, I'll get rid of that and maybe bring another one out. But I've got two alternatives to the one that got dismissed. You say, well, if you dismiss one and you add two more, you're just making the decision process that much harder. And I say it doesn't matter. There's forever between now and the time the submarine is finished to make a decision. I could bring out like dozens of alternatives, and there'd still be plenty of time to go through them all, because you ever going to be done with this? I don't know. I started joking earlier that, and it turns out, I think, not to be so much of a joke, that it's taking almost longer to build the model of the submarine than it took to build the submarine. That's sort of true, although it's not totally fair, because, when they were building the submarine, it was like Cold War footing kind of time, and they were probably working 3 shifts a day to get it done. It was actually done ahead of schedule, which was pretty amazing. But they were probably doing that, whereas with me, it's only Submarine Wednesday, so it's like 3 hours a week, right? So if I were working at the same pace that they worked at with the original submarine, it would have been done by now. But doing it 3 hours a week, it's been taking a while. I'm going to have to take this up during break and show it to Nicole, who is the artist in the family, so she can comment on its rainbowness. And then she'll say, oh no, I wanted the stripes to be horizontal, not vertical. No, she won't say that. That would be... It's still possible. I just get the primer out and reprime it and just start over. Okay, well, there's a rainbow. There's the rainbow unicorn thing. And the yellow and the orange need another coat, especially the orange. Well, both. Might even need 4 coats on the orange. It's really not covering well, but the rest of it I think came out pretty well. It looks rainbowy. So clean the brush here, take off the head magnifiers. Thanks for people who are watching this stream so far. I will be taking a break. Generally, I say it'll be about a half hour. Generally, it's about 37 minutes. One time, I actually came back on time. I think everyone was startled. It's like, oh, what happened? What's wrong? Your break didn't go long. Do that. Just swish it around a little bit. Paint out. Yeah, so it'll be about a half hour, more or less. So about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back from the break, continuing to work on this by doing more orange and yellow and then painting the mane and the tail. Really dark kind of midnight purple. And then do things like maybe paint the hooves. I'll have to ask them, instead of black, maybe I'll paint them gold too, or bronze or something. That might be kind of fun. So there. Relaxing painting with Dice and Dungeons takes a break. We'll be back in about a half an hour. Oh, back from break. Oh, pretty close to being on time. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's see. Orange and yellow. Just need multiple coats yet. Haven't knocked it over yet. Looking for bright gold. I think it's like one of two colors I haven't pulled out of the thing here yet. Bright brass. It's supposed to be a polished gold as well as just gold. I don't know. It might be here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Just gold is the color of the unicorn's horn, and apparently now also its hooves. I was told that that would be fine to do the hooves in that color. Let's see. I got the go-ahead to put green wash on the base of this because why not? We're just going to use it in our stream, and you know it's a prop, not a display model, and that'll be proppy looking. So I'll blot. I will be blotting green wash on that later. Let's go back to orange. I'm going to put the another coat of orange and another coat of yellow on. See how it looks. If it looks okay, well, I'll put it on, let it dry, because otherwise the next layer of paint seems to pull off the previous layer. They have to dry fairly much. So after that's dry, while that's drying, I'm going to paint the base of the little Archer Sprite thing. And after that is blotted with green wash, then I'll talk about what to do after the submarine is done. And then come back to the unicorn. The rainbow unicorn. Sure, that will show up somewhere. That'll probably show up in the stream somehow. I don't know how or why. Excuse me. Yeah. Squeeze out a little bit of orange paint because otherwise it just ends up, you know, sitting there and getting wasted. And I'll try not to waste too much orange paint. Yeah, it's looking like this third coat might be sufficient. I don't know, we'll see how it looks on the yellow too. to be painting, a miniature, some item that needs a lot of detail, I'm going to do my best to avoid these colors. I wonder, probably not. I was thinking maybe thinning them a little bit would actually help because they're kind of gelatinous, but it wouldn't help the coverage any. Well, got very excited about something. I never know if you can hear them or not. Sometimes they just go on a tear. They go tearing through the house, barking. Do the yellow. I'm not holding out much hope for the yellow. I'm thinking there's going to be four coats of yellow on this thing. On the submarine, all the missile tubes were painted yellow, and it took two, I used spray paint on that, spray, and it still took 2 coats, and it still wasn't perfect. The paint just started building up thick. So I don't know, these colors just don't do that well. Maybe the Tamiya. I could have tried the Tamiya yellow. I haven't used that in a while. I don't even know if it's still good in the bottle. It's been a long time since I used it. But that would have been an alternative. After this yellow is put on, then I'm going to go back to the Sprite, the Archer Sprite, and put green wash on the base just to do it. Why not? It might look okay. If not, it's just like I was told, it's just a prop for the stream, the Dungeons and Dragons stream, so it's not that critical. Let's see. Other important artistic decisions is bright gold for the unicorn horn, but decided that the horn and the toenails are going to match. So the hooves of this horse are also going to be painted bright gold. That should be shiny. Now it looks like the 3rd coat on this yellow will be sufficient. Covering well enough. I don't need to put another one on. This always happens. Right after break, the temperature hasn't changed down here, but it just feels colder. And I start getting drainage because of that. Sometimes I'll put on a down vest or something, which I should have done today, but I didn't. Okay, I think this yellow will be okay. It's yellow enough. Yeah, so there's the rainbow. There's the rainbow unicorn. Now I need to paint the mane and the tail and the horn and the hooves. I'll let that dry, and then I'll paint the mane and the tail. Probably have to use my head magnifier for that so I can see where the edges are clearly enough anyway. And then the horn and the hooves, and then little white spots, to me like stars, sort of on the mane. I might use the pearlescent paint, see how that goes. I'll have this cardboard. I'm going to paint the a little swatch of that purple on here as well, so I can test different stars. Different ways of making the stars, like just touching it with the brush like this, or a toothpick, white paint or pearlescent paint. We will see. Put this aside. And then I need the green wash. Take this by hand. There's not much left in here. About time to get a new bottle. I'm just going to use one of these sort of large bristled kind of glooby brushes. I'm just going to dab it on to make it look kind of like mossy. And then this will be done. I'll set it aside to dry and then take it off the holder and put it aside where it won't fall off or be broken or something. So this is just going to be spotted on here. Dappled. Dabbed and dappled. You know, fall woodlandsy. And it's, it's unevenly dappled. Succeeded in getting it to be uneven and dappled. This then is done. Kind of the pearlescent. If you get the light just right, the pearlescent looks good on the wings. Just a little purple glow if you catch it just right. I think it looks pretty neat. And there it is. Whatever it is, there it is. All done and ready to go, including the toothpick arrowhead and the reattached bottom of the bow. I did reconstitute that disaster fairly well. So I'm going to set this aside over here. And then, paint the mane and the tail on the horse, of course. So I was talking about the Mr. Ed thing, just sort of a repeat of what I had talked about, I think, on Monday. And the second verse, after people yakety yak all day and waste their time a day, Mr. Ed never has, unless he has something to say, which is kind of dumb, but there it is. Then the rhyme gets better because go right to the source and ask the horse, he'll give you the answer that you'll endorse. But then it lapses back again. You're always on a steady course with the famous Mr. Ed. Back to course. Horse, course, horse, course, course, horse, horse, course. Can't get away from it. Even though we found source and endorse. Yep. And of course it closes with the, you've never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this. And Mr. Ed says, I am Mr. Ed. Like we didn't know that, right? Like we didn't know that he was Mr. Ed because that's the name of the show and the name of the horse, and there's only one horse. But just to make sure we knew that horse was Mr. Ed. We get that self-introduction. So as I recall, and I talked about this before, but let's do a repeat. We'll pretend this is summer repeat season. Is there just a spot that Yeah, this needs it just is not right. I'm going to dab a little bit more on here. It's not dabbing, it's just actually rinsing it off. It's like there's a spot there that doesn't want to be dappled. It's just going to have to not be dappled. I was saying that I think it was a low production show because all I remember seeing was the barn and Wilbur's office and the fence outside. I think the neighbor's name was Roger. I'm not sure. There were other characters, but I don't know if they showed up very much. It was mainly Wilbur and Mr. Ed talking, and then Roger would hear something that would upset him and blame Wilbur, but it was really Ed's fault, but Ed wouldn't admit to it because Mr. Ed doesn't talk in the presence of anybody but Wilbur, and Wilbur can't tell anybody that Mr. Ed is a talking horse because who would believe that? And basically that was the only plot. I think it went on for like 7,000 seasons, at least 4. But yeah, that's how that worked. That was boring. But I remember everybody on Earth would go around, we were talking. The horse, even though the horse wasn't really talking, but that was a thing to do, especially in grade school. So yeah, there was that. Wow, this stream's been going on so long now that I'm running out of reminiscences about 50s and 60s television to talk about. Oh, I was going to show you models. Yeah, since this paint is mixed, let me get this out and paint the mane and the tail, and then I'll talk about what will come after the submarine, because eventually regardless of how slow the pace might look, and it has been quite slow, eventually the submarine will be done. I can say that with a good deal of confidence because I do make some progress every submarine Wednesday. It gets closer and closer to being done. And if you were to compare, for example, a stream from 6 months ago to one now, you'd see that stuff has been done. It's closer to being finished. And that being the case, at some point, Submarine Wednesday, I might keep the name. We might just call it Submarine Wednesday, even if I'm not working on a submarine. Why not? But in any case, some other model will have to be constructed. And I'm eliciting feedback and suggestions from anybody who's watching this relaxing painting stream about what might come next. Options. There will be options presented fairly soon. Where I get this purple gets even darker as it dries, which is what the point is, right? If it look really dark, deep purple, I might Make it even darker and deeper, I guess, by putting like a wash on it. Really want to do that though. See how it looks when it dries. On the color chart, it looked like it got pretty nicely dark. It's supposed to look like a night sky. I don't have a blue that's dark and deep enough. So I'm using this purple. Too much about getting it in the base of the horn, because that will be painted gold. And I don't want to get it all over its face, so I'm being kind of careful here. Yeah, so what have I done on the stream? I've talked about the Flintstones, I've talked about Mr. Ed, and I went down about how there was nothing but Westerns for a while until the James Bond films came out. And then all of a sudden there were all sorts of spy shows like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and The Prisoner and The Avengers and even like Get Smart, you know, the comedy version. Always seem to come in clusters. You know, like one network would put out a spy show and then everybody else would put out a spy show, and then you'd have to have network, it'd have to have 2 or 3 spy shows. Mission Impossible, that sort of, all of those. It was like that with Westerns for a good long time, and then there's a spot in the nose that didn't get painted red. To pull the red paint out, believe it or not, and touch that up. Yeah, so after Westerns came spy shows, so I went down about that for a while. Talked about Yogi Bear. Smarter than the average bear. You have a picnic basket, you will find him there. And just so that we didn't forget, they repeat that Yogi Bear is smarter than the average bear. Probably because, you know, it was just a theme song for a cartoon show, and they didn't get the best lyrics writers in the business out there if there were rhymes, I guess that was good enough. It's always amazing, actually, how many episodes of something be made that were basically the same as all the others. And you go on for years of 15, I don't know how many episodes there used to be on primetime TV shows, 12, 18, quite a few. Those would go on for a while, and basically they were all the same from one to the next. Okay, I was going to make a test spot here. So this is going to be a pretty big test spot, and I'm going to use it for several purposes. One of which is to see how it looks with some gray wash on it, and some dark gray, almost black wash, which might make it look darker. And then also to test star spots, because we want it to have like a night sky with twinkly stars, right? I can really paint the hooves and the horn right away while this is drying. Yep. So there, the rainbow unicorn is rainbowed, and then the mane and the tail are supposed to be like the night sky, but it's not coming out quite as dark as I was hoping. So I'm going to test some dark wash on it and see if that helps. And then I need to test to see whether, whatever I decide to do for the stars will dissolve the wash, and that will work. Excuse me. Oh, why not? Get the polished gold going here. Oh, wait, I was going to do something else. Let me do this something else. Okay, so eventually this submarine will get done. And I had been saying by the first quarter of this year, which means by the end of March, but then I was looking at the calendar, and there's all sorts of times when I won't even be streaming because of travel or family obligations or something like that. So I'm still going to try to get it done by the end of March, but it might be more like the end of June. Yeah, so what comes next? A couple of streams ago, I had 3 alternatives. The alternatives were a Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, and I was told of the 3, that one was the loser. So I've got 1/48th scale Savoia S21, which, if you can see here, was Porco Rosso's plane, right? And this is a pretty fancy model. It's actually the fuselage lifts off, and you can see the interior detail. If I put it on camera, you can see like the fuel tank and the cockpit, and some of the other interior of the model, and it looks like this was really nicely airbrushed. Okay, like there's all sorts of shading in there underneath the fuel tank, and wow, mine is not going to look like that. It's not going to look that good. But yeah, and this is not the plastic. This has been spray painted with nice glossy red. So this is a professionally built model here in the picture, and mine is going to be a very much amateur built model because I'm going to be building it. But yeah, so that's one option, is this, and it's 1/48th scale. This is really hard to find, so I have to thank I think David, who's a member of Dyson Dungeons, found this for me, I think. So I think that one's definitely in contention. Yeah. The other one that I showed that stayed in contention, at least until the second round, was a very large scale 57 Corvette. Okay, such a large scale that I can hardly show it to you without knocking things over. And when it's built, it's supposed to look, again, very nicely spray painted in glossy red, and the chrome is attached and masked so that the coating is done beautifully. And I mean, the chrome parts in the box aren't even this well formed, but you know, you even got little, like, the door locks and the door handles and stuff, and the antenna. It's a really nice model. It's if you can read it here, it says it's got operating headlights and taillights and carpet and interior, which is a piece of like felt material with flocking on it. This is supposed to be only a skill level 2, but I think it's like a 4. Anyway, this is one of those. This could be a potential option. Then I pulled out 2 more. These are Star Trek themed. One of these was suggested by another member of Dyson Dungeons. Is this is a Deep Space Nine model with the fiber optic lighting system. So the fiber optics go through here and it lights up all around it. And you know what you're looking at is just a whole lot of gray spray paint with detail airbrushing and stuff on it. This model is still in its original plastic. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And it's a limited edition, and the price tag on it, this was really expensive. This is an old model, but the original price was like $42.50. I don't think I paid that much for it, but it's still in its original shrink wrap, so this is probably like a major collector item. As it is, I could probably get my money back or more. See how it's supposed to look when it's done. But that's an alternative. Or maybe I'll just sell it on eBay again. There's a free Star Trek print inside of this box. Anyway, if this gets built, it'll be even more difficult to display somewhere than the submarine is going to be. This other one is also still in its original packaging. Okay, whoever sold it to me on eBay took the price tag off. This is really kind of weird, but it's compelling. This is the USS Enterprise command bridge, the original one with like Spock and Kirk and Sulu. Okay, and I haven't opened it, and so I really don't know what it's like as a model. You know, they show some pictures here, but those are stills from the TV show. And the picture here is just another painting. So I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing that these things are molded in like black and red and blue rather than being painted. Okay. And I'm just guessing that given the age of this model and the way things were built, that the control panels actually have like stickers instead of decals. A lot of these models that for some reason use stickers, and I'm guessing that all of these are actually in the model and stick on. But I haven't opened this, and I haven't seen an open one, so I don't know. But I think, I mean, this looks like, you know, because it's still in its shrink wrap, I should look it up on eBay and see if I can make money on it. But the alternative is to open it up, see what it's like, and build it. I bet it's really tacky, you know, and that it probably comes with these figures, and you're supposed to paint them, you know, like little eyebrows and stuff on them. You get the hair color right. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of cool. So I've got the Corvette and the Deep Space Nine and the Star Trek command bridge and the Porto Rosso Savoia. Yeah, S21. This one This one looks like a beast to build. The parts are all kind of small. They're molded in the color they're supposed to end up being, but there's no way you can ever leave them that color. You can see that when the model was built like that, then everything was spray painted over the way it should be. This comes with stickers too instead of decals. But yeah, it's got a carriage on the bottom. It's got like fuel tanks and internal detail and things that are all supposed to be painted different colors. And it looks like I hadn't gone this far. These are the instructions, and it looks like the instructions are only in Japanese. Yeah, including the painting instructions. Okay, like that, and that is supposed. You can see it. It's got helpful little pointers going to these spots with great. So there. It's got a very helpful parts list, I guess. Well, that'll make it a little bit challenging. The box is really pretty. So I don't know. I'm just going to speculate that the Deep Space Nine is probably not going to be next, because that'll be another 2-year project. It'll be forever. Not that something like the Savoia would be done more quickly, but that it's anyway. So there, we're back up to 4 alternatives. Yeah, back up to 4 alternatives. Let's see, I was going to test dark gray wash on this purple to see how it turned out. But eventually, sometime yet in 2024, I expect, I'm not promising, definitely not promising, but I expect that the submarine will be done, and then I'll probably start on something else. Been that kind of thing. So this is the dark gray wash. It's supposed to be translucent. Purple here, and let it dry. And after it's dry, then the stars. So with the stars, just try to make dots. I've got a very white that I can use, and then I've got the pearlescent white as well. And I don't really want to use my good brushes to make little dots like that. I'm not sure they'll work that well. I've got mutter. Here, I've got this one. This one is the same brush, same kind of brush as this one, but this one, the bristles are essentially gone. The bristles are pretty much gone. So I might try this for the stars, because then I can just get dots. I'm looking at this, and I think, the dark gray wash on the purple seems to work. It is working okay. It gives it more of the effect that I think people are looking for. So I'm going to do my best to try to get it on that and make it look okay. Some paint out. As paint goes, this isn't very good paint. It's kind of an accent something or other. It's pretty good. What's on here? This is sort of what I'm going to try to. Oh wow! Did that get really mangled? There. Sorry about that. Here's, I think, the stars. I'm just looking at little dots. Okay, dots of paint to make it look starry. They don't look like much against this really big blot, but when they're against the when they're on the mane and the tail, they'll look okay. Yeah, so this pearlescent, this terrible brush and the pearlescent paint, I guess that's what I'm going to do. How it'll be, but first, I want to very carefully put the dark gray wash on the mane and the tail, because that makes it look much more like night. The purple's a good base color, but it's not the night sky kind of look that we're trying to achieve here. Getting down near the bottom of the bottle, and it's as it does that, the solvent, there's less and less solvent in terms of ratio with the pigment. So what would have been very watery, I'll call it that before, isn't so much anymore. I need to be a little more cautious in using this and do more of a dry brush than a spread of the. Yeah, there. Leaked out. We had one of these bottles. It was a black wash at one point, and it was just really terrible. Anytime anyone opened the bottle, it sprayed out. There's a dark gray wash on the purple, make it look really night-like, very much dark night sky kind of thing. But it does look better with this wash on it than it looks more night-y, darker, night-like. Yeah, I think that works okay. That to dry before I start putting little dots on it. So I'm going to paint the horn and the hooves next. That's that. Okay, yeah, there's probably just about enough time. The base of this is just going to be painted like dark gray. Maybe even NATO black. NATO black doesn't cover as well. The dark gray paint is much better for that kind of thing. I'm going to have to put this on because the horn and the hooves are... They have contact points with the other colors, and I make a mess with it, so I won't. I ended up using a lot of colors today. Look at all that. No. It's also, this palette is, I keep, these, you buy these things by the dozen, these little plastic palettes, right? And I throw one away and start over with a new one? No. Just keep washing it until finally it gets to the point where it's just so gross it can't be used anymore. I think I'm going to use the tiny brush on this one. Get maximum control. Terribly concerned about getting the paint in the base because that's going to get painted black or dark gray. The error in the paint, I want it to be down at the bottom, not the rest of the horse. This is covered as the yellow did. Just getting a whole bunch down at the bottom and kind of pushing it up onto where the hoof line appears to be. Toes here. This can sit around and dry for a while. Paint little starry spots, starry blobs on the mane of the tail. Yeah, whatever. Paint the horn. Shiny glittery unicorn horn. Suggestion had been to like coat this in a clear coat kind of thing and sprinkle it with glitter, but I have no glitter. And put glitter on something if one has no glitter. That's that shiny goldy color now. The yellow paint, it's like gelatinous. It doesn't exactly spread on, it just sort of globs on. Okay. It gives it kind of a texture. Yeah, enough of that. Roger? Hi. Yeah, I was told to make it a rainbow unicorn, and there it is. It's rainbowy. And now I'm supposed to paint little stars on the mane and the tail, so I guess I will do that. And I don't know if we'll ever... This looks like the kind of thing that's going to show up on the stream. You know, like it's just going to show up. It's going to walk in, say something, baffle everybody, and then just walk away. But there it is. It's coming out okay, I think. Kind of fun. I know you've been incredibly busy, so I appreciate you dropping in. That's really nice. Thanks so much. Oh, I don't know if you saw these. An added alternative for Submarine Wednesday is Star Trek U.S. Enterprise Original Enterprise Command Deck model that I'm speculating is really, really tacky, molded in red and black and blue with stickers, probably stickers for all the control panels. It just looks like that kind of thing. So that is now competing with the Savoia and the Corvette. Very different, kind of alternative, but I thought you should see it. Yeah, people here too. The other one I have, just to show it to you, and I'm not sure I even want to open this box because the letter that came with it said, "This is now a collector's item," is a gigantic, truly gigantic Deep Space Nine model, still in its original shrink wrap. Yeah, and it's got fiber optics in it, so it's supposed to light up like this when it's built. This one just looks overwhelming. But yeah, I mean, this one would be really cool. I will say, though, the real problem with this, besides losing its collector value, yeah, it's like limited edition and everything. Yeah, it's just like, no, just save it, right? But if I had to show that off because somebody suggested building that one. It's just, what would you do with it? It's like this big around, and it's like all these. It would just collect immense amounts of dust, and one would never, ever, ever be able to clean it. Just so that is just being set up for like a disaster. But I think the Star Trek command bridge, I want to look that up on eBay to make sure that I'm not giving away like $150 model or something. No, I don't even know how I would even build it. It would hardly even fit on the work surface here. So I'm going to check on eBay to make sure that the command module, the command bridge, isn't a super collectible, expensive sort of thing. And if it's not, I'm going to keep that in the running with the Corvette and the Savoia. Thanks for dropping in. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Okay, I don't think I need these to put stars on the main. What I need is my hand not to mess around and slip too much. So I'm going to use this pearlescent paint, and I'm just going to put spots, like star spots on the mane and the tail. And I practiced a little bit, and it should work. It should work okay if I don't make a mess of it. So, I have the wrong brush. I wanted the one that has no bristles. This is the one where the bristles are pretty much gone and there's just the tiniest little point. I just want to put these little white pearlescent dots on this thing. Yeah, can't even see them, can you? But there's little white dots going on. Okay, well now this got sparklies on it. It looks okay, especially at sort of a distance. Yeah, just enough time. Sorry I went quiet there. I hope the music was playing. Yeah, it is. That's good. I'm just going to paint the base now. I'm going to paint that just dark gray. And I'm going to use the good dark gray paint. I think so. I think this is it. Or I forget, I'm going to take this little sprite thing off of the stand. It's done, and it will just be there to remind me that I accomplished something. So this paint covers pretty well, and it should dry quickly too, so this will be done during this stream. Paint is almost gone. I'm sure I have another one somewhere, way back in the corner, but this should be good enough for the base here. Just kind of a dark neutral color on the base so that, you know, the base is not interfering with the glaring rainbowness of the rest of this thing. Anyway, this has been another episode of Relaxing Painting with Dice and Dungeons. I appreciate anybody who's watched the stream. Thank you for those of you who are catching it on YouTube later. I would like to ask anybody who's watching this, you know, on the stream to become a follower. That's a good way to support Dice and Dungeons. Whether you care to support Relaxing Painting or whether you care to support our Dungeons and Dragons campaign, either way, becoming a follower is a great way to do that. If you catch this on YouTube, again, either the Relaxing Painting part or the D&D campaign, or better yet, both, please consider becoming a subscriber. That would be a really wonderful thing to do. Okay? And if you are a big fan of Dice and Dungeons, and you should be if you're not, because our D&D campaign show is wonderful and Relaxing Painting with Dice and Dungeons is weird, you consider going to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/diceanddungeons. You can find your way to Patreon easily enough, but it's /diceanddungeons. And think about the possibility of becoming a patron. Patrons get access to the DM's notes for the D&D show. Those are being posted and available to patrons. And before every recording of every D&D episode, we do an improv warm-up, which I can guarantee will be funny. I will guarantee that you will find every single improv warm-up to be funny. Sometimes very funny, sometimes funny. It's funny. But I think you'd enjoy them. So, yeah, if you want to support Dice and Dungeons, and why wouldn't you, please consider going to patreon.com/Dice and Dungeons and becoming a patron. And if you're not able to do that, please become a follower or a subscriber, because that just helps bring more people into the D&D family. You can catch an amazing Dungeons and Dragons show, which is available about three times a month, and also to Relaxing Painting with Dice and Dungeons, where you can hear an old guy go on and on about how crummy the rhyming is in the theme song for Mr. Ed, because it is. All right, cap this up. Haven't spilled anything today. That's pretty cool. And I'm going to declare that you can see that or not, but I did, that Rainbow Unicorn is now complete with starry mane and tail, night sky, starry mane and tail. So I think that came out, I don't know, that's what they wanted. They wanted a rainbow unicorn, and it came out looking like a rainbow unicorn. There it is. Ta-da. And this other one came out looking like some sort of archer sprite with cool pearlescent wings and... Okay, somewhere between here and there. See what's missing? Do you see what's missing? The arrowhead came off. After very, very carefully fabricating a new arrowhead and attaching it and painting it, it isn't there anymore. Oh, okay. So this isn't quite done, because I need to do that again. I need to come up with a new arrowhead and attach it and paint it. Maybe I'll paint it before I attach it. It might be better. I think it came off. I don't know. It's here somewhere. I don't know how. I do not know how these things disappear. It very well might have fallen off when I took it upstairs to show them the base. You know, the option for painting the base. It might have fallen off anywhere in the house. But what I know is that there's no arrowhead where there had been one after I created a new one out of a toothpick and attached it. So there, an almost but not quite completed, but certainly imperfect archer sprite thing. I don't know if I'll remember about the arrowhead or not. I just don't know. So what will happen next week? I'm not sure. I've got some new ones to paint. These have to be primed, so I'll probably take them upstairs with me and prime them later. There is a robot. I don't know, sort of just a generic, why that broke off of something. Lovely. Why this gigantic robot? Why do they always have these huge legs like that? I don't know. Maybe they're otherwise be top heavy, and that helps weight them down. Anyway, when this print came out, it came out flawed. There's no arm, and so this is supposed to show battle damage and rust and junk like that because it's flawed. There is an 8-legged hedgehog sort of thing. I think this is probably a real D&D monster, but I don't know what it is, so I'll have to ask so that I get the painting of it. I never did put this back after I showed you the Deep Space Nine, did I? Nope. So we'll see how that turns out. There is this winged serpent thing. This winged serpent thing is pretty cool. It's got like always with the feathers, there's always stuff in between from the rosin printer, and when I try to take those off, with some frequency I break the feathers. So I think I'm going to try to do that with a file, and I might try to clean that up yet. This is definitely a part of something. I don't know what. I don't know what it came from. Maybe this guy. Oh yeah, there's this multi in the arm. Now this didn't work either. But that thing that broke off is one of these. Those are really delicate. That one's not. I don't think I'm even going to attempt this. Not even try it, because not with those anyway. Maybe without them. But this looks like that looks like a not going to happen. But this thing looks pretty decent, and this will be fun to paint. And I don't know what this is, but I'm sure that there are canon colors, appropriate colors for whatever this is. And it has to be like that, or else it'll be done wrong. So, this is the kind of thing where just see like little bits of plastic that shouldn't be there, that should come off before being primed. This one's pretty sturdy. I can clean this off without breaking anything, hopefully. Broken anything yet? But these, when you get these little stringy things between the feathers, sometimes they come right off like these. Sometimes they just will not. And they have to be like sawn off or filed off, because trying to flick them off, several times I've broken the feathers off. And the feathers can be glued back on if one can find them, but just if they go flying somewhere, then they're not going to be found. This X-Acto knife is not sharp anymore, which makes it difficult to use it as a cutting instrument in any effective way. It's got a nice fine point on it to flick things off, but they're not flicking. So, oh no. I got 10 minutes yet. I can make a mess of something. Let me clean this brush. I don't want to mess this up. This is one of the four really good brushes that I have of different kinds. Yeah, so I'm going to prime these guys after I clean this one up. I'm going to clean it up after the stream is over, because I don't really have anything else to talk about, and it's boring watching me with a file or a piece of sandpaper trying to clean those things off. So I want to thank everybody who joined in today and watched me finish this and then lose the arrowhead that I so very carefully fabricated and attached and then lost somewhere along the line. And more importantly, watched me paint for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, a rainbow unicorn. And there it is. I think I got the colors pretty good. That I selected pretty decent colors for the rainbow parts. I think they all came together pretty well. And then the night sky mane and tail. Yeah, that purple with the black wash, that worked out pretty well. So I'm going to take this off the sticky tack as well. It's always, kind of it's really done. It's off the sticky tack. That there. So thanks again. Really appreciate it. Those of you who have a weekend off, enjoy your weekend. Those of you who, like here, are going to have really bad weather during the weekend, stay safe. Staying safe is going to be really important over the next couple of days in the middle part of the U.S. because there's a big storm south of us right now. Thunderstorms. I think there were some tornadoes even a day or two ago. Yeah, and we're supposed to get up to a foot of snow over the next 48 hours. So see how that goes. Thanks again, and I will be back, assuming that we have power and internet, on Monday at more or less 10 in the morning Eastern Standard Time for more relaxing painting with Dice and Dungeons. Thanks again. Stay safe.